Thanks for tuning in to Tesla Shorts Time Daily, episode 528. Patrick here in Vancouver. It's July 1st, 2026. Let's dive into today's Tesla news. Tesla plans to add 1,000 workers at its German Gigafactory as June registrations climb in multiple European markets. Tesla recorded 1,778 new vehicle registrations in Denmark during June 2026. The figure represents a 39% increase from the same month last year. Data comes directly from Denmark's official bilstatistik.dk registry. New Tesla registrations in Spain increased 5.6% compared with June 2025. Registration data also shows Tesla gains in France and Sweden for June. The combined increases form part of a wider European recovery pattern this month. While sales momentum builds across Europe, Tesla is already expanding capacity at its main production site there. Tesla plans to add 1,000 positions at its Berlin-Brandenburg plant. The hiring comes as production volumes at the site continue to scale. The announcement follows recent registration gains in several European countries. No specific timeline for the new hires was detailed in the report. The factory expansion comes as Tesla faces a more mixed picture in other key markets. June registrations in Norway fell 43% year over year for Tesla. The first half total still exceeds the same period in 2025. The monthly decline comes despite overall European recovery signals elsewhere. The report notes the contrast between the single-month drop and the stronger half-year result. The single-month decline highlights sensitivity to incentives and competition. Shifting focus from Europe to Asia, Tesla is adjusting its China presence. Tesla China has taken the Model S and Model X off the main vehicles menu on its site. Remaining inventory can still be ordered through dedicated inventory links. The change leaves only Model 3 and Model Y visible to new visitors. It follows earlier reports of limited stock for the higher-priced models in that market. In nearby Korea, pricing moves after subsidy approval show another side of market dynamics. Tesla Korea increased prices on the Model 3 and Model Y by as much as $7 million the day after subsidy approval. The adjustment brings some variants up by roughly $4,500. The move follows confirmation that the vehicles qualify for government incentives. Buyers now face higher net costs despite the subsidy availability. That pricing response leads directly into a closer look at how incentives actually work. Price changes that follow subsidy approvals reveal how government incentives reshape the actual transaction rather than simply lowering the buyer's net cost. When Tesla Korea raised Model 3 and Model Y prices the day after subsidy confirmation, the increase offset part of the incentive for buyers while preserving the manufacturer's margin. The sequence shows that list prices are not fixed engineering outcomes, but adjustable levers that respond to policy shifts in real time. This adjustment matters because it alters the demand signal that reaches the factory. A higher posted price can reduce volume even when the subsidized net price stays similar, which in turn affects production planning and supplier contracts. In markets where subsidies are temporary or subject to annual resets, manufacturers that treat the incentive as permanent risk building capacity that later proves mismatched to unsubsidized demand. Registration gains across multiple European markets are feeding into expectations for Tesla's upcoming quarterly results. Analysts expect Tesla Q2 deliveries to benefit from stronger European demand. Registration gains in multiple countries provide the supporting data. The outlook contrasts with earlier concerns about softening momentum. Final delivery figures are scheduled for release in early July. On the technology front, Tesla is also advancing its commercial vehicle lineup. Tesla's Semi program is cited as a factor weighing on PACC car shares and competing electric truck makers. The analysis points to Tesla's production ramp and cost targets as competitive threats. P-Car's valuation has moved lower amid the broader shift toward electric commercial vehicles. The report frames the pressure as ongoing rather than tied to a single quarter. A separate Chinese electric truck company has filed to raise up to $2 billion through a U.S. SPAC merger. The firm positions its vehicles as direct competitors to the Tesla Semi in the commercial segment. Executives have publicly stated a goal of displacing diesel trucks. The filing adds another potential rival in the heavy-duty EV space. The Semi is also gaining new technical capabilities for real-world conditions. Tesla has introduced new electric semi features intended to improve control on slippery surfaces. The system uses the truck's dual motor layout and instant torque response. The update targets commercial operators facing winter conditions. No specific range or payload impact figures were released with the announcement. On the regulatory front, cybercab testing has advanced. On-road testing of a cybercab without steering wheel or pedals has started in the United States. Earlier test vehicles carried conventional controls for calibration. The new configuration aligns with the vehicle's intended unsupervised robo-taxi design. Regulatory standards for such vehicles remain under discussion. Software updates for existing owners continue in parallel. Android users now receive live status updates during supercharging sessions. The feature brings parity with the iOS app for monitoring charge progress. Owners previously had to refresh manually on Android devices. The update rolled out without requiring a vehicle software change. Full self-driving continues to evolve as well. Tesla has begun rolling out FSD V14 Lite to Hardware 3 vehicles outside the United States. The update brings additional supervised features to cars that previously ran earlier versions. Owners of pre-HW4 models can now access the latest stack without hardware changes. International rollout timing follows the US deployment. Beyond the vehicle side, Tesla's broader ecosystem keeps surfacing in owner conversations. Neuralink demonstrated electrode insertion that leaves the dura intact during procedures. The approach is presented as reducing certain surgical risks compared with earlier methods. A Teslarati thread highlighted video of the technique. The update comes from Neuralink's ongoing clinical work separate from vehicle programs. Owners keep highlighting dog mode as one of the most practical Tesla features for travel with dogs. The mode maintains cabin temperature and displays a message on the screen for passers-by. Recent posts show continued use during summer months. The feature requires no additional hardware beyond the existing climate system. Full self-driving software now manages situations where other drivers fail to signal turns. The system anticipates lane changes and merges without relying on visible signals from surrounding vehicles. Owners report fewer interventions in mixed traffic. The capability is part of the current supervised FSD release. Before we go, keep an eye on final Q2 delivery numbers expected in the coming days as European registration trends continue to develop. That covers it for today's Tesla developments. TSLA closed at $420.60, up $8.76, 2.1%. Share this episode with a fellow Tesla enthusiast if you found it useful, and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's episode. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Thanks for being here. And before you go, this show is part of the Nara Network, a family of daily podcasts on tech, science, and markets, each one a short, sharp briefing you can finish on the commute. If today earned its place in your feed, here's your next listen. Unintended Consequences. True stories of good intentions that backfired. Find every show free at neranetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.